Right, we're back. Part two of our rated, how we rate the defenders. Um, we've obviously covered the first section of the first part. We are starting this one on Valkyrie. UK Jedi is with me again,
Indeed.
as we just discussed. Saint Nicholas himself. And right, so we're on to Valkyrie. I like Valkyrie. I love the MPX. I think it's a really good gun. I like the fact she's got a shield. Her gadget can be really useful. I think it falls out just outside for terrorist hunt. Online, I know that she is a bit of a goddess, because online, being able to see what you can see on a map is so useful. It's all about knowing where people are. And that does count on terrorist hunt, but you're dealing with a lot more enemies, so it's not always as important. It's a great gadget, to help focus other people. I just wouldn't put it up there at the very top echelons of importance.
No, she's another secondary. She's a bit like Smoke. She's a bit like some of the others, where if you've got a full team, there are other people that you would take first. But once you've got those people, then she might come into it for me.
Yeah.
So again, the gun's good. Things like that. She has got a shield, which is good. She's got a great pistol. For me, she's there at like a 6, probably a 5.5, 6. She's not quite as useful as some of the other secondaries, I don't think, but she's still in around there.
Yeah, I'd probably rate her between a 6 and a 7, somewhere around there. Only because I do use her still quite a bit. I quite like her, but I also see that a gadget for me on terrorist hunt's not always that important. So I could see her being around a 6 just based on that. I know it'll be sacrilege to some people, but like I said, this is for terrorist hunt. This is not for online.
Yeah.
If we were scoring this for online, she would get a much higher score for her gadget than she does on terrorist hunt.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, so Caveira. Now, Caveira, I personally think is an interesting one because, as we discussed in the attacking operator videos, the ratings, her special is useless on terrorist hunt. It does nothing. You can't use it, which is beyond frustrating because I think it would have been fantastic had they made it work. It's actually the perfect kind of thing, but I get that they would have had to have redone certain things, and they obviously didn't want to write the code and whatnot initially. So I kind of thought she was completely useless, and I wasn't keen on her at all. But then we have to discuss the Lucian. That thing is an absolute menace. For a silenced pistol, it's like a one-shot kill machine.
But for me, that's her only saving grace in terrorist hunt.
I'll give her the M12.
She's got impact grenade. She's got impact grenade. She's got that god awful camera. That's no good. The M12 is okay, but I don't think that it's fantastic.
It's not very powerful, but it's very accurate.
Shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the only saving grace that really she has for terrorist hunt is that pistol, which is an absolute monster. But for me, it's not enough to make her ever.
If you're trying to do
person I would pick for terrorist hunt ever, I would never pick her for terrorist hunt at all.
If you were trying to do something like realistic, so if you were going to play on normal, I think she's fun to have a go as. Because it's quite a good laugh, running around with that pistol. But I think if you're trying to do realistic on terrorist hunt and you've got multiple places to need to be defended, she's not the person you want to be taking.
No.
And for her gadget, the loss of that gadget, she's got to be about 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's about as generous as you can get is a 3. And as I say, because it's based all on the pistol, I would probably even go lower and go with 2. Because for me, it is purely the power of that pistol, and that's just not enough to warrant anything higher.
Yeah, to be competitive and that. Okay, so moving on. Now, this one's interesting because Echo. When he first came in, I thought it bugged me that they had put the silencer on the MP5 and you couldn't take it off. Because I thought, well, why don't why that? Why have they done that?
Yeah.
It irritated me to start with. I found his gadget took a while for me to get the hang of. And then one day we played a game. I think you, me, and Ash, and we were on Skyscraper, and Ash used the gadget and just literally stuck it outside that door. And I didn't realise just the effect that gadget had on stopping people coming through that door. Because he just hid and used it again and again. And we only had to worry about the other side. He literally stopped anyone coming through that door. So it's actually way more powerful than I ever gave it credit for. And it does work. The problem being is that it's one of these operators. For you to use that gadget really well, you've got to kind of
out
go
the rest
hide.
Of the game.
Yeah, you've got to go and hide. So as a secondary person, he can be huge. But the problem is that on Terrorist Hunt, as opposed to online, you can be overwhelmed so quickly. That's what worries me about using it. I still like him. I actually do. I like the Bearing 9. I think it's a crazy little secondary. It's insane. The recoil's insane, but it's fun.
But I still use the 229 over it.
Oh, okay,
that much
fair
more
enough.
Powerful.
Yeah, it is powerful. I just like I use it because it's for the fun factor, I think. But But I like him. I like him more than I ever thought I would. He's actually quite fun to use, and it's always satisfying firing a weapon with a silencer on it. It just sounds cool as shit. I still wish you could take it off though. Personally.
Yeah, it would be good if you could take it off, but for me is because you've got to master that gadget and you've got to make it. You've really got to know how to use it and use it properly, and that does take you out the rest of the game. For me, he's still about 5 at most.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd put him about there. I think that's fair. Okay, next is Mira. When she came out, I used her a lot. The Vector is just crazy. I just think it's crazy. No gun in this game burns through ammunition like the Vector does. I mean, you can do that whole clip in about 2 seconds. The rate of fire is just ridiculous. But I tell you what, at close range, no one stands a chance against that thing. At close range, it's phenomenal. But the problem being is, as soon as you need some distance with it, its usefulness goes down and down and down and down. And when you're playing,
also, if you've got multiple people coming in at once, because you burn through your ammo, you're just reloading and you're stuffed. Yeah.
And I've tried switching to single shot on it, and it just doesn't have the same effect. It's just not. It does not work well on single shot. I do like her gadget though. See, what I find annoying is let's say, for example, you could have 6 people on a realistic terrorist hunt. She'd be a really good 6th person. I would never put her in the 5, but she'd be a great do you know what? Let's stick a mirror on, put the mirrors, so we can see where they're coming from, or do you know what I mean? Or you could then smash out the canister on the last round, and use them as kill holes. The problem is she just doesn't quite fit into the top 5. you know, so her usefulness and that gun is like I said, it's so up and down. She's so brilliant at certain things, terrible at others.
For me though, I want to take both of her secondary weapons. Because I think if you could take both the secondary weapons, they'd actually be better than her primaries.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Vector is fun. Like, I love rounding a corner and just literally dumping the whole clip into one person, which is easily doable.
Which is fine, but you're just constantly reloading with it. So, yes. For me, she's a 4.
I'll probably give her, I do like her gadget, I'll probably give her about a 5 overall. So, yeah, she's
I like her gadget, I just think that, as you say, you know, she's not somebody that you would pick in the 5.
Yes,
so
that's true.
She becomes kind of a bit superfluous, really.
Yeah, on realistic, I wouldn't pick her as such. So, yeah. Fair enough. Okay. And we are on to Legion.
I like Legion. I think he's got a great gadget. Those spikes are brilliant. You know, they show you where they're coming from. They do damage, obviously.
And on Terrorist Hunt, they do kill people as well. We've known that they kill. Unlike online, you know, it does work online, but they obviously haven't written into the code that these people can take these things out. So if you go off, eventually these people will die, which is very useful.
But you can also, because you can, you know, certain levels, you can get the spikes far enough out to A, tell you where they're coming from, but B, give them time to have that effect, and so they can be very useful when used properly. He's got a shield. I think his guns are a bit averagey at best. The T5 isn't the greatest, but it's better than the shotgun.
Well, they were nerfed, weren't they? They were better at the beginning. Or has the T5 since had a buff, I think?
Is it? I don't know, but it's not fantastic, but it's all right. You know, his handgun's all right. He's got a shield, which is okay. Unfortunately, he's got an impact grenade, which I just think are pretty, well, they're a bit nothingy, really.
Online, they're very useful to move from room to room, but on Terrorist Hunt, you don't tend to do that as much when you're defending, so they're not that useful.
For me, he's a 5.
I think I'd probably give him a 5, 5.5, something like that. He's around there, but he's definitely useful though.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. So one of the most probably controversial operators they've ever brought out, because let's face it, when they brought Ella into the game, she was so overpowered. They basically gave her the Scorpion Evo with a 50-round magazine, and it literally fired like a laser. I mean, I've never known accuracy on any of the guns in this game to be as good as that. I remember using it. I used her non-stop for about 3 months, simply because that weapon was just unbelievable. You could have given her no gadget, and I would have still used her constantly, because that gun was incredible. Obviously, it's had some changes. It's still a good gun. It's now got some recoil. It's still not a terrible recoil though. I
think it's still a good gun. I mean, I go with it. I still use the Scorpion Evo if I use her, which is rare, admittedly. But if I did, the Scorpion Evo is still the one I go with. She's got a shield and barbed wire, which she's always useful. Her pistol, well, it's an averagey pistol.
The gadget's not bad.
She's good. The gadget's not bad. Again, you got to put them in the right place. If you're not careful, you put them in the wrong place, and you end up hitting everybody else.
Yeah, that's happened a lot. It's been many a time. I think
for me, she's a solid 7.
Yeah, I'd give her a 7 for definite. And I'm with you. Even now, that gun is still. It just feels satisfying to use. Even now, it's still cool as shit. Vigil. Okay. Another person whose gadget does not. It's not that it doesn't work, but it has no bearing on the game because the other team don't use drones. The terrorists don't use drones. So if they don't use drones, then he's a bit useless. He's got some nice guns.
It's pointless.
Yeah, he's got some nice weapons. I'll give him that. The K1A I really like. It's a really nice gun.
It's okay.
It's just the secondary for me. There's not even that much to say about him really. Once I get why they did the special, but obviously it's not like it doesn't work. As I said, it has no use. Just doesn't do anything. It would have been kind of cool if you could have turned it on and literally evaded people. Now that would have been a difference maker. Like if you were almost invisible to terrorists, and you could get behind them and flank the bombers and people like that. Oh, we'd be discussing a very different score, I think, if that was how they'd set him. But they never do that.
He's useless.
Yeah, he's useless to me. I'm literally going to mark him for his guns. So for me, he gets about a 3.
Yeah, I'd say a 3 is fair.
Okay, so now you can't not like Maestro just simply for his profile picture. His profile picture gets him a couple of points, but just because he's just fun. And let's be honest, is there any more fun weapon in the game than the Order 5.56? Is there? Because it is fun.
Oh, it's great fun. Brilliant.
It's amazing. The rate of fire on that thing. That's what Mira needs. Mira needs a 100-round mag for hers, and then her weapon might be, her weapon rating will go a lot higher. But that gun is fun, and it's got a lot of recoil, but it is masterable. I think I'm getting there with it. He's good. I just think he's a fun operator. I still personally don't get on very well with his gadget. I've tried. Maybe it's just me. I'm just not very good with it. I've seen people using it online for terrorist hunt and for just online play, and people are really good with it. Maybe it's just me. I
don't think I use him enough to master the gadget, and without being able to master the gadget, it becomes a bit of a hindrance at times, and he becomes just a bit like a slightly yet less useful Valkyrie in terms of his special, with a much better gun.
Yeah, I agree. I think
for me, it's probably a 6 to a 7.
I'd probably go around a 6 at the moment. Yeah, probably around that kind of score. But I do like him, and I do like using him. And that gun
I like him, and I love that gun. But that's just not enough to make him,
Yeah, he's not viable a lot of the time. Okay, Alibi. She's an interesting one because I think her gadget has helped us many a time win rounds because of the constant flow of information that you're getting of where they're coming from, and obviously on terrorist hunt it is constant, and they fall for it all the time, pretty much a lot of the time. So you are knowing, I can remember a few we did on Clubhouse, and placed in the right places, that it can be massive. Online, I totally get people's criticism of the device should automatically give a hologram of the operator costume that you have on. I agree with that. They should be able to work that into it, because otherwise, if you change your costume, what's the point? Don't get me wrong, it will work maybe in the first instance, but as soon as you You know, I remember people used to just line up all three and then stand next to it, and people would have no idea who was who. I think online you have to use a default for for the usefulness, but you don't get that on Terrorist Hunt. It makes no difference whatsoever, so it has no bearing on it. The MX4 Storm, it's not the best gun in the game, certainly not the worst. It's I wish it had a bit more power, but it's fairly accurate. I think she's good. I think for me she's a I reckon just under an 8, in and around just under 7.5, 8. I like her.
Yeah, I'd go with 7. Yeah.
I think the information she provides is, and in fact, we recently maybe we should have, in that game we played the other day, maybe we could have used her more. She could have been a useful. See, she is someone that I would choose in a 5-person defence on realistic. You could see her being chosen.
Yeah.
Right, so down to the last two. So obviously, just in terms of timing, not just us, but most other people probably have played both these operators the least. Clash. Now, I did give her a few goes when she came out. I think that she definitely has a use. We haven't just quite worked it into our own personal games yet. I do think that we should try. I think that's something that we should work on in the next few weeks. Actually try and introduce her on realistic, to use her as that anchor at a door or something like that. But until I get to that, I can only judge her on what I've got. She's got a great pistol. That P10 is powerful.
Yep.
It's really good. She's got barbed wire. I know that they've made a lot of changes to her. A lot of changes to the stun. I find it doesn't seem to feel like it lasts very long. But for me, until I've had more time and tried to work her into games more, and I will try, she's just middle of the road for me at the moment. About 5.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I haven't used her that much. I wouldn't see that she would be a must-have on any of them, and I would question how useful she would be. So, yeah, I think a 5 is probably about right. I think but less is being unfair, but more is being far too generous for what she would offer.
But I think maybe probably all of us, be worth all of us giving her a go and working her into some realistic protects over the next few weeks, because she could turn out to be totally invaluable, and go, God, why weren't we using her more before? Or it could be, do you know what, we've all tried and we just can't find a use for her, kind of thing. But I think we just haven't really tried yet, so I think it's fair to give her a middle of the road kind of score until we've tried more with her. And well, this is going to be an interesting one, because here's the operator who, realistically we've used the least, who has become, well, I don't know whether he's for me in Mute and Doc's category more up, but he's definitely in Jaeger's kind of category. For me, if we're going to complete realistic, protect hostage, I think you've more often than not you've got to pick this guy.
Oh, I think he is up there with the Mute and the Doc, really. Certainly with Mute, purely because his gadget it's concealable. It is the key in some ways of actually having a way of holding them back that you can rely on.
And as we showed in one of our videos on Hereford, when you have a room which has got some cover, some decent cover, and you can use mute to keep the walls intact, and then you can put up the shield trap that we came kind of, well, I'm not going to claim that we came up with it, because there'll be someone else out there who goes, well, I've done it before or whatever, but I hadn't seen it. I'd seen a version of it, but we came up with that trap, and it does work. We've learned that it does work, as long as you want, you know, the doors need to be in the right places. You don't want them opposite each other, that kind of thing. But if you can get it in the right place, he will stop anyone coming in the room using his trap. They will not get in, as long as you've got people with shields and barbed wire, which obviously he does have. It will work. We've shown that. We've proved that it will work. And I just wish, personally for me, that they'd kept him with 3 and not reduced it to 2, because now, like, imagine the difference being in a room with a hatch. You could have just lobbed one up on the hatch, done. You don't even have to worry about the hatch. Whereas now, you've got to make a choice all the time. What are we doing? You're going to put you're going to put them down in the doors, but if they come through the hatch, that's when someone like a Frost, you need like a Frost there, because what do you do if they drop down a hatch in the middle of a firefight? On realistic, you're dead very quick, you know.
Yeah, but generally you're dead before they drop down, so...
Yeah, that's true. But I do agree with
pistol,
you.
I love the auto mag. I love it.
Yeah, I like the auto mag. It's very nice. I think at the moment he has to be a 9. I like the AUG. Oh, though saying that, do you know what? I'm going to give him an 8, and I'm going to give him an 8 because of the god awfulness of what they class as his first primary weapon, and that's what they build that as, this super duper auto shotgun, and it is awful.
Yep, no, it is awful.
It's terrible, and for some weird reason, on PC it's more manageable than it is on console, and no one can work out why. There's people that have used both and they cannot use it on console, but they can use it on PC, even though Ubisoft say the settings are identical. I don't get it, but it's more than one person, and some fairly big YouTube channels have done some tests with it, and it is different. You can see clearly the recoil on console, not just PlayStation but others, you know, Xbox as well. The recoil is just unusable. Right, so I'm going to give him an 8. He would be a 9 if it wasn't for that shotgun.
See, I think for me it'd still be a 9, just purely because I don't use the shotgun.
No, I don't. But part of me wouldn't have minded giving that one a go, but it's powerful, but it's just useless. So yeah, maybe an 8.5 then, maybe in and around. But he's good. I like him, and yeah, I think I think they're fair scores that we've given these people today. Looking forward to some new operators in March. Obviously, they're a bit lacking in information at the moment on.
Who knows what's coming.
Exactly. You know, I do hope that we get something similar to Outbreak to start it off, because it will make some great videos, and yeah, I just enjoyed it. It was just a different change, just a different pace.
Yeah.
You know, no, it'd be nice if we get something like that. But anyway, that is basically it. You know, if you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button. But yeah, that is pretty much it. If that's been any use and you like playing Terrorist Hunt, I think we've pretty much covered it. Thank you for watching, and from me and from St. Nicholas, say goodbye. Bye bye.